Barn Dance by Hutchins. The moon was so full and the stars were so bright that horse, pig, and sheep felt like dancing all night. They wanted to bounce, to jig, and to leap. But all of their little ones were fast asleep, so they put straw on the floor to muffle the sound. Then they bounced and they jigged and they leaped around. Horse did a dance all on her own. Hooves scattered the straw and pounded the stone. She leaped and she pounded. Sparks started to fly, but the straw on the floor was terribly dry. So there's horse. There's sparks on the straw. Horse splashed in the trough to put out the fire. But then her legs were beginning to tire. She felt she needed to rest in the hay, so she went to lie down where her little one lay. So there's the little one still back in the straw. Then sheep did her dance. She bounced up and down, up in the air, down on the ground. It was the best bit of bouncing the pig had seen. But the bouncing sheep had forgotten the beam. So the sheep bounced so high that she got stuck up in the beam in the top of the barn. Pig piled up some straw to break the fall, so that sheep, when she landed, was not hurt at all. So she dropped down off the beam onto the pile of straw. Then sheep felt she needed a rest in the hay, so she went to lie down where her little one lay. So now horse is resting and sheep's going to rest with the little ones. While the others were resting, it left only pig to practice the steps of her favorite jig. She jigged backwards, then forwards, and jigged some more. But then she slipped on the stony floor. There's Pig in the water trough. Pig dried herself on a bundle of straw, her legs too tired to dance anymore. She needed a rest in the hay. So she went to lie down where her little one lay. So now all three of the adult animals are resting with the little ones. And while horse and sheep and pig had a rest, out of the straw the little ones crept. Now they could bounce and jig and leap, as all their mothers were fast asleep. So there go all the little ones, while the parents are sleeping in the straw. So they danced and they danced through the night, for the moon was so full and the stars were so bright. They danced and they danced till the break of day, then crept back to their mothers to sleep in the hay. So there's their mothers still asleep in the hay, and they're creeping back after they stayed up all night to go have a rest with their mothers. So for our craft, to go with our story, we're going to make some barn animals. So I started with a craft stick, and it's just a regular, the wider craft stick. If you want to use popsicle sticks, you can. You can sometimes get the colored ones, but I just took a marker and I colored them the color I wanted. So since I was making a pig, I colored this one pink to start. So after you've colored it pink, then I'm going to add all the pieces. So there's the nose, the eyes, and the ears for the pig. So to do that, I'm going to add a little bit of glue, and then I have the little googly eyes. If you don't have googly eyes at home, you can just use your marker. And then for his nose and ears, I have a piece of craft foam. So this is the sticky foam. If you don't have foam, you can use material or paper, construction paper or colored paper, whatever you want. So I'm just cutting out a little oval shape for front of the pig's nose. And this piece of craft foam has the sticky back on it. Sometimes, depending how old it is, it's not too sticky anymore. So you might want to put a little spot of glue on there. So that's the start of our pig. And then for the pig's ears, just snip the corners of your craft foam off to get some triangles. And then put your little pieces on there for the pig's ears. And then of course the pig always has his little nostrils where he makes his sounds from. So there's the front of my pig. So there's my pig. The next one that I made was a cow. So I colored my craft stick gray, and then I made little spots on it to make it look like a Holstein cow. And then I added my pink nose, my googly eyes, and then for the ears on the cow, I did some just rectangles. So I took my craft foam and I just cut 2 little strips that are like rectangles, and I put that on the top for the cow's ears. And then I'll add his eyes. When you're all done, you'll have your little pink nose for the front of your cow. And I also did a chicken, which wasn't in our story, but all farms and barns usually have a chicken. So these sticks were pre-colored on both sides. They came already dyed. So if you have those, you can use them. And again, for my chicken, I just simply added the eyes and the nose. So the animals are a lot the same. Just change the color of the stick, couple little changes, and you have a different animal. So you can take a little piece of orange or red craft foam to make a nose. And you don't have to worry too much about putting everything on nice and straight, because barn animals usually are off playing on the farm being silly. So they're not usually perfect. So I'm going to add some feathers just to make my chickie look like a fluffy chicken. And then lastly, we did a horse, which was in our story. So same idea, you put your 2 eyes. I did an oval with some nostrils up at the top and some ears that are sort of offset and a little bit crooked for the horse to make it look like he's playing around. So when I'm all done, I have my horse, my chicken, my cow, and my pig, and you can use those as little puppets to make little stories with, or you can act out our barn dance story that we read. And if you want, at home, you can make a barn. So when I made this barn, I just used a box with this is the side that had the opening slit down it. So I just opened up that slit and I cut some doors. So you'll have to get a parent to help you. So you don't want to cut along the side, because that's going to be your hinge. You're going to just cut in the middle and the 2 sides, and your barn, top of your barn is going to open like that. And then the way that my box was together at the bottom, there was a little bit of an overlap, but it's okay if it's just a straight seam. And again, I took a box cutter, or you can use scissors, but you'll have to get a parent to help you with that, and to cut some big barn doors. And then you can use your animals to make a little puppet show. So I'm going to just try to hold them up there and see if you can see them. So you can sit behind your barn and hold your puppets so that everybody can see. And you can act out your barn dance story, or you can act out any animal puppet show that you want. So there's your barn, and there's your animals.